David Hume. He is a Scottish Enlightenment philosopher, historian, economist, and librarian. He is born in Scotland in the year 1711 and died in the year 1777. His nationality belongs to Scottish, so he is called a Scottish Enlightenment philosopher. He was born is born in 1711. The century was called the 18th century, so he is a philosopher of 18th century. When you are looking at the philosophy, which country does he belong as? He's from Scotland. So generally we would tell that he belongs to Western philosophy. So not only that, he's a philosopher and economist, but librarian. David Hume is interested on the following terms such as empiricism, skepticism, and naturally. So the following empiricism, skepticism, and naturalism are kind of a philosophy or a philosophical theory in which David Hume is interested to talk about. And when you're trying to get the meaning of those theories like empiricism, skepticism, and naturalism, so empiricism is the theory that states that knowledge comes only from sensory experience. Whatever we touch, whatever we experience from touching a surface or objects, that is called empiricism. Or something we touch, by touching something we get something experience, whether this is hard or soft, or it is what kind of object it is, only by touching that. This is called experience or empiricism. So David Hume is interested and is a believer on experiencing something. And skepticism is also kind of a philosophical view that question the possibility of a knowledge or certainty. It has two general categories: those who deny all possibility of knowledge and those who advocate for the suspense of judgment. So skepticism is nothing but that question the possibility of knowledge or certainty. And naturalism is also one of the philosophical theory which is nothing but natural elements or principles and relations of the kind studied by the natural sciences. It could be called in another way metaphysical naturalism. It is a philosophical basis for science for which metaphysical naturalism provides only one possible. A treatise of human nature is the work which is actually written by David Hume. This is one of the very famous works written by him, and it is written around the 1730s by him. It has subtitle also. The subtitle is called "Being an Attempt to Introduce the Experimental Method of Reasoning into Moral Subjects." It was completed in 1738 at the age of 28. When David Hume was 28, he had completed writing this work, a treatise on human nature. Although many scholars today consider the treatise to be Hume's most important work and one of the most important books in Western philosophy. It is also important to know about David Hume that David Hume is completely against innate ideas. Innate ideas is nothing but it is in a philosophy, a concept or a kind of a knowledge which is said to be universal to all humanity. That is, some people are born with rather than something people have learned through experience. It is not that what David Hume thinks. It is a mind is not a blank state at birth. According to the concept, innate ideas, everyone has born in this earth with ideas in our mind. So it is not a blank slate. Mind is not a blank state. When we were born, the mind has already been filled with ideas. By that idea, we are able to experience the thing, and we are not experiencing from the outer side, but because we have already something ideas which help us to experience the world. But David Hume is not supporting the innate ideas, so he doesn't believe that we have already ideas in our mind when we were born. So human knowledge comes from experience. So since he's against the innate ideas, he believes from experience. He's like Francis Bacon, Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and George Berkeley as a British empiricist. Is interested or extended to the following terms, like is interested on epistemology, metaphysics, ethics, aesthetics, philosophy of mind, political philosophy, philosophy of religion, and classical economics. And most important to note that notable ideas are invented by David Hume. That is what are the terms that have been invented by David Hume are given in color of green. The first one, problem of causation and problem of induction, constant conjunction or bundle theory, association of ideas, and is out problem, and fact value distinction, and impression idea distinction, personal identity or Hume folk, deductive and inductive reasoning, and science of man, and then moral sentiments. So all these ideas have been given. In next video we shall be explaining each ideas, what do they come to, the contribution of the ideas to the literary theory that we will be explaining in next video. A treatise on human nature was failed because since David Hume was an atheist, there was protest against the publication of the book A Treatise on Human Nature. The History of England is a major contribution of David Hume. The History of England has 6 volumes written in the year 1754 and completed in 1761. So the book which is called The History of England has 6 volumes. And then an abstract of a book lately published is the title of a book. So all these works written by David Hume and published. A list of volumes which is occurred in the book of History of England is volume 1. In among all the 6 volumes, let us look at the first volume, that History of England from the invasion of Julius Caesar to the accession of Henry VII, published in the year 1762. Volume 3 and 4, The History of England under the House of Tudor, covering the year 1485 to 1601, published in the year 1759. Volume 5, The History of Great Britain, containing the reigns of James I and Charles I, covering the year 1601 and 1649, and it was published in 1754. The final volume, that is the volume 6, as The History of Great Britain, containing the Commonwealth and the reigns of Charles II and James II. It was 1649 to 1688, so it was published in 1757. The literary achievements done by David Hume is an inquiry concerning human understanding and inquiry concerning the principles of morals. Both works have gained success, and this is the great achievements of David Hume. Moreover, he's published 4 dissertations. This kind of an essay written in the year 1757. When you're looking into the work of a 4 dissertation, we have 3 topics, 3 essays. The first essay was the natural history of religion, the natural history of religion. The second essay of the passions, third one of tragedy, the fourth one of the standard of taste. Another work to be discussed here, that Dialogues Concerning Natural Religion. It is a philosophical work by the Scottish philosopher David Hume. First it was published in 1779 through Dialogues. It is a completely written in the form of a dialogue where you could see that there are 3 persons conversing one another, that is Demia, Philo, and Cleanthus. They are debating each other about the nature of God's existence. And My Own Life is an autobiography of David Hume, and essays, moral and political. This is also one of the works written by David Hume in 1741. It was published. Later, he had added edition which that was included essays, moral, political, and literary. So he has added 2 more essays along with the first one, which was published in 1741. Essays, moral, political, and literary. As we have already said that he is interested and coined some of the terms that impression some ideas, principles of association, simple and complex, induction and causation, the self, practical reason, ethics, aesthetic, and problem of miracle. All these terms are invented by David Hume, and we shall be explaining these terms later in next video. And it is important to know, to familiar with one of the quotations said by David Hume. Is he says about the religion. How he views religion is that through this quotation we shall understand that in what the perception David Hume looking into religious ideas, that he says, generally speaking, the errors in religions are dangerous, those in philosophy only ridiculous. So if you are looking at religious views seriously, there may be error, but when you have a sense of humor, when you are looking at the religious in a ridiculous way, this could be done only if you are a philosopher. If you are a philosopher only, you could look at the religion, it is full of ridiculous things. Hume is considered a founding father of conservatism, so he is father of conservatism. Then another work is to be discussed, that Sister Peg, 1760. It was a political pamphlet satirizing a British Parliament.